94% of Europeans arrive in America bracing for a war zone, and every single one of them leaves wondering if their entire childhood was a lie. Stick around for the next 10 minutes, hit like right now and follow along, because the truth these tourists uncovered is about to wreck your idea of what civilized even means. My ancestors are absolutely going to disown me for this, but there are things America does better than the UK, and honestly, 3 of them come to mind immediately. If you're American, tell us in the comments if you could survive without any of these. Number 1. College sports. In the UK, university sports is basically 7 guys kicking a ball around next to a car park. In America, college sports looks like the Olympics had a baby with the Super Bowl. Sellout crowds, marching bands, actual fireworks, mascots earning a paid salary like it's a real job. I genuinely assumed people would eventually stop caring about their college team. Nope. I asked someone, "How long are you going to support this team for?" You know what they told me? Forever. Meanwhile, back in the UK, our university mascot is just some bloke named Jacob in a stained hoodie. Number 2. Drive-through banks. The first time I saw one, I figured Americans had simply gotten too lazy to commit financial fraud indoors. But honestly, it's genius. In Britain, going to the bank feels like sitting through a council meeting about your own financial decline. In America, you can deposit a check while your car seat emotionally supports you, and an iced coffee sits in the cup holder. That's not banking, that's innovation. And finally, endless refills, which nearly brought me to actual tears. Ask for a second Coke in Britain, and they look at you like you just requested a second mortgage, and it costs you another £4 every single time. In America, a waiter materializes every 6 minutes like some kind of fizzy drink guardian angel and just keeps refilling. Want a refill? Absolutely. I had one Sprite in Texas that, as far as I can tell, never technically ended. So yes, 3 things America got completely right. Why do people from supposedly the most civilized countries on Earth feel punished the moment they land in the States? Because back home, they lived under constant, silent judgment, while in America, a French woman said that for the first time in her life, she could actually breathe, free to be exactly who she was without some outdated European rulebook constraining her every move. Tourists were flawed by the small talk culture and the enthusiastic encouragement from total strangers, something almost extinct in a Europe that has slowly gone grey and lost its ambition. Instead of the division and hatred the press keeps promising, they walked into a giant sleepover where every ethnicity danced in the street and ate at the same table. America isn't just a country, it's a different planet where positivity is the default setting. Don't believe it? Fine. Let's decode why America might actually be the most slandered promised land on the entire planet. A British man who spent months and months crossing America was asked, just yesterday, by an American, "What is life actually like in the UK?" 29 years old, born and raised there, and his answer was blunt. The UK is isolated. That's the cleanest way to put it. It feels cut off from the rest of the world, like it doesn't even belong to real life. The moment you land in America, you experience real life, real freedom, real adventure, real space. Sure, the UK sits close to France and Germany on a map, but there's barely any real connection between them. It stays cut off. Step into America, though, and it's like someone opened a door onto an entirely new planet. That's the only way to explain it. Before you land in America, you assume you're walking straight onto the set of an action movie. The world's media has done an incredible job painting a bleak, terrifying picture. A land of crime, gun violence, danger lurking on every street corner. Europeans used to arrive clutching their bags, eyes darting constantly, like we'd signed up for a survival course instead of a holiday. Why do Europeans supposedly hate Americans, according to Europeans themselves? This one's purely for fun, pulled from notes taken during a European co-living conversation, too good not to share. And there's more of this kind of culture talk if you want to keep following along. Number 1. Americans always have to label their own jokes, saying, "I'm joking," out loud, something a British person would simply never do. And it's true, Americans are terrified of offending anyone, guilty as charged. Number 2. Americans act like their country is the center of the universe and come across as weird know-it-alls about basically every topic, always dragging the conversation back to the United States and failing to notice that cultural context outside the Western lens even exists. Number 3. An obsession with identity and labels, constantly announcing, "I have ADHD," or "I'm neurodivergent," bringing identity politics into conversations in a way most Europeans simply wouldn't. Number 4. Being fanatical about absolutely everything, from football to firearms, always having an opinion and always sharing it, whether asked or not. And finally, everything is just too hyped up. A friend once sat someone down and said, "Listen, you've had the best meal of your life 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Sometimes things are just good. Sometimes they're just fine. Not everything is amazing." Americans really are the golden retrievers of the world. Peppy, passionate, hyping absolutely everything. Total agreement on that last one. Sound off in the comments if there's more to add. We all know the geography one already, so let's just skip past that. But then reality slapped that ingrained belief straight across the face. It's midnight. Look at this. Look at this. Nothing. No one. Completely spotless. Not a speck out of place. A full walk all the way down the block at midnight, and completely, totally safe. And this is a white guy walking around a gas station in the middle of the night. Those trucks parked out front? Nobody's touching them. Nobody's smashing the back open and looting them. If a truck rolled that slowly in South Africa, it would be broken into and stripped in seconds. It's genuinely awesome. Under that bridge up ahead? Taking a walk under there right now. And you know what happens? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Safe as it gets. People need to stop taking this for granted, because America is safe. America is clean. America is friendly. That truck right there isn't being robbed. It's not even being broken into. There's no drug users passed out, no vandalism, no one sleeping on every corner stealing everything that isn't nailed down. Just simple freedom. You can actually walk around at night as a white person in America without a second thought. Not that it should matter, but there it is. The stores stay open 24 hours. No bulletproof glass anywhere. Nothing even has locks on it. It just sits there, all night, untouched. Trash cans get used properly. No security guards standing around watching everyone's every move. Do people realize how rare that is anywhere in the world, especially compared to South Africa? Walking in front of that truck right there, and he slows down, stops, and just lets a pedestrian cross. No attempt to run anyone over. And that's a black man driving. Someone who'd been spoken to earlier. Kind, easygoing, no aggression at all. Which in South Africa would be the exact opposite. People speeding up to try to hit you. Teenagers are out at midnight just having a normal conversation with each other, completely unbothered. What an incredible place. God bless America. An actual anaphylactic shock waiting to happen. Come to Utah and you'll witness a scene the media desperately doesn't want anyone to see. People park in front of the supermarket, leave the keys sitting in the ignition, doors unlocked, and just wander off to shop, unbothered. Strange, right? Try that in London or Paris, and how many seconds before that car vanishes? 5? 10? Europeans pride ourselves on our rule-heavy, security-obsessed glass cages, but in America, women confidently walk alone at night, carrying designer handbags without a shred of fear of being mugged. You have to see this to believe it. Women walking everywhere, completely alone, fancy handbags, jewelry, sunglasses on, and nobody harasses them, nothing happens. There's a park right here, not a single piece of litter, gorgeous flowers, a bench that hasn't had anybody assaulted on it. Clean, tidy, and squirrels that haven't been eaten by anyone desperate. This place is unbelievable. Spotless, clean, safe. This is what living in a genuine first world country actually feels like. Another bench over there, not vandalized, not smashed apart. In South Africa, walking through a park like this alone while holding a phone and a pair of glasses simply wouldn't happen. But here, completely safe. Women everywhere, walking alone, and it's honestly unfathomable to anyone watching from South Africa. Pure awe for the United States of America. It's beautiful and it's safe. Safe even for the squirrels, for goodness sake. You genuinely cannot make this up. All glory to God for preserving a country like this. Children run and jump freely in front yards without a squad of guards watching their every move. Those yellow school buses, straight out of a cartoon, are somehow completely real. Even the squirrels in the park move at a leisurely pace, having apparently never once felt threatened by a human being. We are loving America so much since we arrived. It's an incredible country. Tomorrow they're taking us to what's apparently a nature preserve for owls at a place called Hooters, and honestly, we're very into nature, so it should be an exciting trip. What about the guns? Sure, people wear them on their hip, but it sits there like a calm tool of self-defense. Nothing like the chaotic gunfight the 8 o'clock news promises every night. Plenty of British tourists were baffled to discover the local park was clean, beautiful, free of graffiti or vandalism. Neighbours clearly look out for each other's homes. Human kindness and community trust are still thriving here. And that's when the bitter truth sets in. The media doesn't reflect real life. It's propaganda, dressed up and sold as fear, designed to keep people obediently locked inside their own safe little cages. But lived experience doesn't lie. It made people feel punished for believing the lies for so long, and punished for falling in love with something this genuinely free. This is a message to every American who might see this video. Never forget this summer, the summer of 2026. Never forget the overwhelmingly positive impact you've had on people around the entire globe. Never forget how amazing you all are, how your kindness made people never want to leave this country this summer. Remember how welcoming you've been to so many people from every corner of the world. Never forget how you looked after strangers, how hospitable you were to absolutely everyone. And most importantly, never forget who you are. You are the American people, defined by character, integrity, hope, love, kindness, and support. Please, America, never forget the summer of 2026. So ask yourself honestly, do you prefer the tight security of a cramped glass cage, or the freedom of leaving your keys in your car like people do in Utah? Do you trust what the television tells you every day, or do you trust your own two eyes? But that's just the beginning, because next comes the real wealth, the real purchasing power of Americans, and it's about to become a direct punishment of European self-respect. According to the Institute of Economic Affairs, Britain is now poorer than all 50 American states by GDP per capita, overtaken by Mississippi, the poorest state in the entire country. But here's the genuinely wild part. A poll of 3,000 British voters asked where they thought the UK would rank in wealth if it were an American state. And on average, British people believed they'd land somewhere around the 7th wealthiest. Europeans have always carried a quiet sense of self-respect, placing ourselves on the upper floors of civilization, sipping tea in our cramped little apartments, convincing ourselves the UK is just as wealthy as America's leading states, that we'd be a top 7 state if we ever joined the Union. But what's the actual reality? A slap across the face, a merciless punishment for that delusional self-respect. According to studies from the Institute for Economic Stability, if the United Kingdom became the 51st state, it would comfortably slot in as the poorest state in the entire federation. Yes, you heard correctly. Mississippi, a state that's practically a meme for American poverty, has a GDP per capita that outpaces the United Kingdom's. Even Alabama sits safely ahead. So what exactly does Mississippi have that England doesn't? The answer is blunt. Money. So why do you think we're so much poorer than Americans? Because everything here is so expensive, honestly. Take housing, for example. The houses you can get in the US versus the UK. You're talking triple the size for the same money. Everyone's income just disappears into rent and mortgages. It's simply that much more expensive. And the job market, too. People get paid significantly more for the exact same jobs in America. It just doesn't hand people a fair shot because of how much gets taxed out of everyone's paycheck before it even reaches them. What actually lands in your bank account is painfully limited. Europe's social welfare system has manufactured a sense of artificial wealth. We feel financially secure right up until we set foot in America and watch how people here actually spend their money. Purchasing power here is an entirely different universe. With the exact same income, instead of being crammed into a matchbox apartment in London or Paris and burning most of your paycheck on sky-high rent, Americans own homes 3 times the size, complete with sprawling gardens and oversized family cars. Salaries for identical jobs run significantly higher in the US, while income tax is far easier to manage. Of course, it isn't a flawless paradise. There's a real paradox at play. Americans earn more, but they're poor in time, working harder and taking fewer vacations to fund that prosperity. Wealth inequality here also carves out ruthless economic dead zones that tourists sometimes stroll straight past without noticing. But setting aside the macroeconomic theory, let's look at real life. Europeans seem to be comforting each other by comparing ourselves to poorer countries just to feel wealthy, instead of bravely admitting we're falling behind the rest of the world's prosperity. So be honest with yourself. Would you rather be a tycoon crammed into a matchbox apartment in London, or an ordinary person with a house and a sprawling garden in Texas? Their material wealth genuinely leaves us breathless. But does the money come with understanding? Or is American society actually a boiling pot of hatred, division, and discrimination, exactly as the press insists daily? Flip on the news and you'd swear America is a powder keg, one spark away from exploding. A society torn apart by ethnic conflict, furious politics, people ready to clash over the smallest disagreement. Everyone braced for a culture war. What actually welcomed them instead was a giant sleepover. You know why Europeans and people from all over the world are falling for Americans? Because for the first time ever, everyday people are the ones center stage. Not the government, not the policy, not the institutions, but the people themselves. The actual essence of the country. So this whole summer is becoming a patriotic one, wearing as much USA merchandise as humanly possible. Not because there isn't work left to do, because there absolutely is plenty this country could still fix, but because for the next 5 weeks, the true character of the place is on full display. A reminder of just how special this country is and how lucky everyone living here really is. At World Cup-era fan festivals, millions of people of every nationality, race, and political stripe danced, sang, and sat together at the same table. No heated shouting matches, no ghost of a political agenda hovering overhead. Just smiles and generosity. You'll find small talk culture absolutely everywhere. Complete strangers stopping just to ask how your day is going, or naturally cheering on your dreams, even without knowing a single thing about you. Why is that strange? Because in America, being different is actually encouraged. You get to be yourself without constantly bracing for a judgmental stare. The media has deliberately blurred the line between the politics on your screen and the people actually walking the streets. Kindness here is real. From the Texas barbecue owner rolling up his sleeves to personally teach tourists how to eat proper ribs, to a stranger in Alaska who casually pays for your meal just to spread a bit of good, to the image of an entire room bowing their heads to say, "Thank you for your service," to soldiers, a genuinely moving show of respect. American hospitality operates on a completely different level than the UK. Walk into a shop or restaurant back home, and it feels like the staff would rather be anywhere else, like they don't actually want to help. In the US, it's almost unrealistic how badly these people want to help you. And this has happened everywhere. At a gun shop, so intrigued by the guns there, wanting to shoot them, assuming, naively, that every gun shop doubles as a shooting range. It doesn't, but they still let a total stranger hold the guns, talk through each one, walk them around the entire shop, and hand over a little patch just to commemorate the visit. Then, buying a cowboy hat, everyone was unbelievably friendly. The guy spending ages fitting it properly, helping pick the right one. It's incredible. And the restaurants take it to yet another level entirely. Loving every second of this trip, honestly. Everyone here is just so friendly. At this point, the media's bubble of manufactured social hatred has completely popped. Try to remember the last time a stranger back home smiled at you or complimented you out of nowhere, versus just staring at your shoes with a judgmental glare. Keep living in that cold, cautious state, or dive headfirst into this sleepover of 300 million endlessly energetic people. But human warmth is only half the story, because once your ego is stuffed full of compliments and kindness, brace for the next assault, a direct attack on your taste buds. Because here, food and freedom are never just about calorie counts. Before landing in America, the media hammered in one deeply ingrained stereotype. American food is nothing but industrial sludge dripping in chemicals, the sole reason the entire world is overweight. Tourists mentally brace themselves for terrible meals, and instead receive the sweetest, most expensive sentence ever handed to a European palate. The first shock: free refills. Ask for another Coke in England or France, and your wallet evaporates by another £4. In America, waiters glide by like drink guardian angels, topping off your glass constantly, completely free of charge. Tip culture, controversial as it is, buys you a level of genuinely attentive, chatty service you'd never find in the chilliness of a European restaurant. And the food itself? Pancakes at chains like IHOP are so smooth and creamy, they completely redefine breakfast. The rich, buttery biscuits and gravy has left plenty of British tourists stunned. And the crown jewel, Texas ribs. Meat slow grilled for hours, tender, juicy, melting in your mouth like jelly. A genuine culinary experience the media has never once bothered to mention. Walk into a supermarket like Costco, and you'll be overwhelmed by aisle after aisle dedicated purely to cheese or sausage, gallon-sized cans of milk, and portions so massive that one single order of fries could realistically feed a family of 4. Admit it. This culinary experience makes it painfully obvious we've been paying premium prices for tiny portions back home the entire time. In England, an extra Coke costs £4. In the US, it's free. Protect your wallet, or protect your waistline. Would you dare a Texas-style rib that melts in your mouth, or crawl back to dry bread while pretending you're full? Get in the car, because next stop is the one city every news report is begging you to never set foot in: San Francisco. Ask anyone before flying out, and they'll give the same honest warning. Don't be foolish enough to go anywhere near San Francisco, a no-go zone soaked in garbage, crime, and terrifying slums. The news has painted it as an absolute wasteland. But standing in the middle of San Francisco itself reveals that the media wasn't just exaggerating, it fabricated an entirely different city altogether. Lived experience slaps those dark stereotypes straight across the face. Tourists are stunned to find San Francisco is one of the most beautiful, charming, vibrant cities on the entire planet. Brightly painted Victorian houses line the slopes like something lifted straight from a postcard. Park an RV on the street for hours, and there's no vandalism, no theft. Walk for 2 hours through clean, tree-lined streets, and there's not a single pile of trash anywhere in sight, despite what television keeps promising. Fresh air, immaculately kept parks, a majestic bay stretching beneath those iconic bridges, breathtaking at every turn. Walking around here feels remarkably peaceful and safe, arguably safer than some of Europe's busiest avenues. Sure, San Francisco has its dark corners like any major city, but the media casually multiplies those problems 100-fold just to sell fear, quietly hiding the art-filled bars offering visitors a genuinely magical night out, and burying the kindness of the friendly people on every street. So, the real question: do you trust the honest lens of a tourist filming it themselves, or the sensational script of a news editor chasing clicks? When was the last time a city labelled dangerous also managed to feel like something out of a fairy tale? A city this beautiful owes its looks to nature and architecture, but its soul comes from its people. So the next question: are Americans really as rude, loud, and impulsive as the world loves to claim? In the subconscious of most Europeans, American comes bundled with a whole set of stereotypes: loud, rude, culturally shallow. Plenty arrived carrying a quietly superior attitude, convinced we were somehow more refined. But the moment that assumption collides with real life, Europe's own culture of politeness starts revealing its true face, often just a cold, artificial performance. Americans carry a strange instinct toward default positivity. No matter how rough the day actually was, they lead with a radiant smile and, "I'm fine, everything's great." That kind of enthusiasm can be dazzling at first to someone used to the weariness and buried sarcasm back home. But it's not hollow. Watch how they behave, always yielding the right of way, proactively holding doors, never skimping on a genuine thank you. In the southern states, hospitality reaches a point where total strangers treat you like family. Blunt, sure, but kind with it. Struggling with something, or trying to launch a new idea? Americans will be the first ones enthusiastically cheering you on, instead of pouring cold water over the whole thing. Their cultural depth doesn't live in mouldy old museums. It lives in their sense of community. Look at college sports culture again. Games played on a scale rivaling the Super Bowl or the Olympics. Consider the sheer reverence society holds for its soldiers here, a depth of respect plenty of Britons secretly wish they had at home. And most importantly, nobody judges you. Wear anything, do anything, chase any wild dream without fear of being torn apart for it. A French woman once said, "In America, for the first time, I felt like I was truly breathing." At this point, you have to ask yourself an uncomfortable question. If this video gave you a fresh, valuable perspective, hit like to support more videos like this, share it with a friend who's curious about what America is actually like, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss the next deep dive. Please note that this video is based on the personal insights, perspectives, and lived experiences of international travelers, combined with relevant socio-economic data. It's intended purely for discussion, cultural exchange, and offering a multi-sided perspective. It does not represent the entire reality of every individual or organization, and it does not contain any political or personal attacks.